to know, and I'm sure my listeners also want to hear, we have a government in place. They are interested in continuing after the December elections. So they are telling us to help them come back to power so that they can build on what they have started, at least in the last 8 years. You are saying we should stop that. We shouldn't listen to them. We should bring the NDC into power to come and reset this country. Why must it be so?
Thank you for this question. We are calling on Ghanaians to vote for change. You see, the theme for Saturday's program, tomorrow's program, is change to reset Ghana. Mm-hmm. And there are two important words in that theme. Okay. The first is change, and the second is reset. Reset. So let me start with a change factor. You see, whether you are NDC or MPP or CPP or PNC or even apolitical, if you be honest with yourself, you will agree with me that this nation is in a mess, a total mess. This nation is in disarray. Nothing is working. We are seeing the very opposite of the mouth-watering, lofty promises that the Kufuor Bawumia MPP government told we, the people of this country, on the basis of which we voted for them. The very opposite. We are not seeing the factories, the promise. We are not seeing the jobs. We are not seeing the dams, the promise. We are not seeing all the beautiful mouth-watering slogans, okay, that they propounded all over the place. Today, cost of living in Ghana has become so unbearable for the vast majority of our people that people wake up today without knowing where the next meal will come from. You go to the market today, inflation is so high. Prices are skyrocketing on a daily basis. I just got to Tamale and already I'm feeling the hardships.
No, you've not bought anything yet.
Oh,
how did you feel?
Yesterday I bought meat.
You've been hosted, yeah?
Yeah,
so
no,
agitator and co
as
supposed to take care
of that. Somewhere went and bought meat. And I used to come to Tamale when I bought meat, 20 cedis. I saw it. You know the meat that
the guinea fowl.
Yeah, not even
not the guinea fowl.
This one was what? Cow meat.
Okay,
the one that they put on
the
fire.
Beef kebab, okay.
You know, and I saw it this time around. I was shocked. So, and when I engaged the women, I asked them, what's the price of rice today? Are you able to buy it? Look, in Accra, the 5 kilo or kilogram of Gino rice that we used to buy at 25 Ghana cedis today is going for 185 cedis. I don't know the price in Tamale, but I'm sure it will be around the same price. A gallon of diesel that we used to buy at the price of 14 cedis under Mahama in 2016 is today going for almost 70 cedis. A bag of cement that used to be sold at about 27 cedis in 2016 under President Mahama today is over 100 Ghana cedis. You understand? So everything, whether it is food, whether it is clothing, whether it is medication, whether it is building materials or transportation, everything has gone up astronomically. In some cases, 500%, 600%, 1,000%, 800%. So it's not just the increment we are lamenting, but the astronomical increment is a problem, without any commensurate increase in the disposable income of the people. This is what has totally eroded the purchasing power of the Ghanaian. This is why everybody is saying we are suffering enough of the hardships. And the reason for the hardship is that Bawumia, the chairman of the economic management team, who projected himself as an economic wizkid and the paragon of all economic knowledge, the answer to our problems, has proven to be a monumental failure. He's flatter to deceive on all the promises he made about the exchange rate. Today you need almost 16 cedis to get a dollar. Our mothers who use safer for their trade under Mahama, they needed just 6,500 cedis for 1 million safer. Today they need over 27,000 cedis. Can you imagine? From 6,500 today they need 27,000 cedis for 1 million safer to go out and bring goods, whether from Burkina or Togo or Cote d'Ivoire and so on. So they've lost their capital, they've lost their businesses. And that is why today even the multinational businesses like Unilever, like Glovo, they are all leaving the shores of Ghana. They are folding up, they are leaving. It is leading to job losses, and they are not leaving to America. They are leaving to Cote d'Ivoire. They are leaving to Nigeria. They are leaving to Togo. That is how bad our situation is. You know, and to cap it all, this government has plunged the nation into bankruptcy. So that today, Ghana has lost its image as a black star of Africa. Today, we become a butt of all jokes on the capital market. We've been locked out of the capital market. We can't go there and borrow because we can't pay our debts. That is how bad the situation is, and that is why you can't get loans from the banks today. If you are even lucky to get a loan, you are paying an interest rate of 35% and above. That is why the young people cannot find jobs. That is why even NAPCO beneficiaries are owed 9 months arrears and they are not being paid. That is why today, even though we're told that they will be implementing a planting for food and jobs program, all we have seen is planting for high food inflation and joblessness. And today we cannot even afford simple onions, simple tomatoes. A bucket of tomato in Accra has galloped from 8 cedis in 2016 to 120 cedis. I don't know the price in Tamale. Common tomatoes. Today we are importing onions to Ghana, tomatoes to Ghana, and so on. So there must be a change, because we cannot continue to suffer like this whilst a few people in government, Bawumia and his brothers, capture juicy state contracts, inflated state contracts, awarded to them against the loss of this, awarded to them against the loss of this country. Like we've seen the Sunyani airports being given to the brother of Bawumia, Cocoa Road projects being given to the brother of Bawumia, and the Auditor General says that all these projects were awarded in contravention of the public procurement law, and that these projects did not offer the nation any value for money. Today, look at what is happening in Accra. I'm coming. $58 million, equivalent to 1 billion cedis, sank into a useless hole in the name of building a cathedral of lies for God. Wasted like that. We cannot continue on this path of wanton corruption and wastage, economic mismanagement and hardships. And that is why we are calling for change. That if you want to see change in your life, you want to see a government come and hold these looters accountable, those who have sold our lands to themselves, they've sold our properties, our assets as a country. If you want to see real prosecutions, real accountability, you want to see a paradigm shift, then your surest bet is the NDC and John Hammer. So that is a change aspect of the message. And then you look at the reset aspect of the message. The reset aspect of the message says we cannot continue to do the same things over and again and expect different results. We've seen changes in Ghana, but the kind of change we want today must not be a normal change. It must be a transformational change, and that calls for a total reset.
Okay, so even before you get into the details of the resets, I have a few concerns about the change aspect that you mentioned. So you've told us how the economy is now, is in a mess and all that, but most of the things you have talked about, the government has really explained why they are in that situation. So they were struck by COVID-19, I mean, not only Ghana, globally, and this really affected nations, including
so
Ghana.
Which one are you talking about?
COVID, and then what's the name? Ukraine-Russia war also came into the fray. And this has destabilized a lot of countries, including Ghana. So supply chain was affected.
Simple question. So which of our neighbors, Burkina, Togo, Cote d'Ivoire, which of them are a bankrupt country? Were they all affected by COVID?
But it affected countries differently.
Also,
right?
Did COVID, yes. Hold on. Did COVID affect Ghana more than it affected Cote d'Ivoire? Did COVID affect Ghana more than it affected Nigeria? Did COVID affect Ghana more than it affected Togo? Tell me.
But you acknowledge the challenges that came with the pandemic.
I am asking you a simple question.
That's okay. You continue to answer.
I'm saying that did COVID affect those nations too?
Of course, it affected them, but it's different levels.
And different levels. But I'm saying that for the countries I mentioned, COVID affected us equally. That's the point. In fact, Ghana is one of the nations that COVID least affected. how many cases of COVID did we record? And even how many fatalities? Even one death is regrettable. But if you compare our situation to countries who actually went through months of total lockdown, when we only went through 3 weeks of partial lockdown in Accra and Kumasi, you can't even compare. You can't even say that the impact of COVID on Ghana was bigger than the impact of COVID on countries who went through months of total lockdown. Yet those countries who went through months of total lockdown as a result of COVID, none of them is a bankrupt nation today. None of them have defaulted on their debt obligations. None of them today are recording the hyper levels of inflation we have seen. None of them. Today, the Ghana cedi is the third worst performing currency in the whole of Africa. Do you know the number of countries in Africa? How many countries in Africa? 54, right?
54.
So how come our currency is the third worst performing currency?
So you're discounting
I am saying it cannot be in COVID. Because COVID affected all the nations of the world. So how come that we have been plunged into bankruptcy, but other economies have rebounded, like the economy of Cote d'Ivoire? I'm talking about the countries surrounding us. I'm not even citing the advanced countries. No. Look, like Bawumia said, how did COVID jump Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, Nigeria, only to come and destroy the Ghanaian economy? So straight away, you should know that these guys are only making flimsy excuses for their recklessness, for their mismanagement. The problem was not COVID. The problem was how they handled COVID. Because COVID, even though it was a problem and affected all economics, we all admit that, it also came with opportunities. Because of COVID, Ghana had access to $6 billion. You know that? The IMF gave us $2 billion. The World Bank gave us over $1 billion. The Bank of Ghana first gave the government 10 billion cedis. Later on, they gave them 45 billion cedis. So much money, over 30 billion cedis. Yet, the Minister of Finance went to Parliament and said, COVID cost Ghana, all the things we did because of COVID, cost us 12 billion cedis. Meaning that we had 18 billion cedis free money as a result of COVID. And we could have used that to plug any revenue holes and to, remedy any difficulty that the pandemic caused. Whereas other countries were responsible in their management of COVID, we were reckless. And that is why Felicia Tete, the Sagnerigu PC of the NPP in the 2020 elections, I believe she's still standing, current MPP vice chairperson, has been captured on tape saying that COVID money was distributed to MPP constituency executives and DCs like biscuits. They gave some 50,000, 100,000. She herself is captured on tape talking about the COVID money she was given, over 100,000 cedis. That is what they did. And that is why we are seeing a collapsed economy, a bankrupt economy after COVID. 4 years, or let me say 2 years after COVID has subsided, because COVID subsided as far back as 2020. But that is not just it. Let me just add that even before COVID, our economy was in a mess. And I am not saying it. The country director of the World Bank, Mr. Laporte, said it. You can Google it. Ghana's economy shows signs of serious challenges before COVID.
Yeah, even Kuku Kwarteng mentioned something
exactly
like that.
And even before COVID, wait, hold on. You brought it, so let's deal with
but
it.
you ran up on that quickly. I need
even
to,
before
the time is
COVID, even before COVID, the cedi depreciated against the dollar by 13%. So much so that the government had to form a 40-member committee, including Franklin Kujo and the likes, to investigate the reasons for the alarming depreciation of the cedi in 2019 before COVID. If you check all the economic indicators, our debt to GDP ratio, the growth, everything was in a mess before COVID. So COVID is just a whipping boy and a convenient excuse for the Bawumia-led economic management team, which has been totally useless and reckless and irresponsible in mismanaging and destroying the economy and the livelihoods.
But you acknowledge, in terms of the promises they made, one factory you spoke about that.
Where are the factories built in Tamale?
We are told they've initiated over 300 of them. No, over 100 has been started.
We are in Tamale.
Yes, in northern region. There's a rice factory at Savulu.
No, we are in Tamale. I know that when you talk about the city of Tamale, you are talking about 4 constituencies?
No, there are two constituencies: Tamale Central and Tamale South.
Is Tamale North not in Tamale?
It's in Sanargo.
Okay, so
Okay,
the
so
larger
the greater
Tamale,
Tamale.
four.
Okay, that's fine.
Tamale,
I get you, I
Tamale
get you.
Central, Tamale North,
Sanargo.
and Sanarigo. How many factories here?
There's
Tell me.
one.
Which one?
Motokin assembling.
Mutukin, which is older than you.
That assembly.
You know when Mutukin
No,
was
it's not
built?
older than me. It's
It's
older
older
than me. No. I was here when they brought Motokin, but there's a strategic
Okay,
partnership.
when was Mutukin brought?
Yes, it was here before the MPP government.
So
But
it
there's
is
a
not- it cannot
strategic
be one district,
partnership.
one factory.
Yeah,
Thanks
there's a
for settling
strategic, a strategic partnership between the government. They help.
One
they
district,
help.
one factory is not about strategic partnership.
Of course.
They
I told
published
that.
a pie chart in 2016 and they showed us the factories they were going to build from scratch in every district. They didn't tell us that they were going to partner with
do a
already
PPP arrangement.
existing, because that is not new. Every government partners with the private sector. Kofor did it under EDIF. Rollins did it under GIPC and EDIF. We even established the Free Zones Authority. John Mahama did it again under Free Zones, under EDIF, and so on. We supported a lot of existing factories. That is not the one district, one factory we were promised. So if you come and you pick Mutukin in the whole of Tamale, Mutukin is what you can talk about. And Mutukin existed years before Akufo-Addo and Bawumia came into office. Then you should know that this government is nothing but a dishonest government. They are a group of liars that you cannot trust because they don't deliver on their promises. And the reason we are suffering is that aside economic mismanagement, they have chopped all the money. That is as simple as that. They've wasted the money on the rental of private jets at $10,000 per hour. They've wasted the money on a useless and needless cathedral project, which has turned out to be a pipe dream. All you see there is the biggest hole in the world. They've wasted that money on useless office of the president expenditures. We've all seen the reports that have been presented to Parliament. They've wasted the money on corruption. That is it. They've stolen the money. And that is why you and I are suffering. And that is why we must vote for change, so that John Mahama can get the opportunity to introduce a 24-hour economy.
So what's the reset?
Which will give us, that is what the reset is
The
about.
reset.
Give us a 24-hour economy that will provide decent, well-paying, sustainable jobs for the youth. John Mahama's first.
Can you take a moment and explain the
government.
24-hour, because there has been a whole lot of confusion out
No
there
problem.
with your
No problem.
colleagues asking for a correct interpretation
Whatever
and
question
explanation.
you have about 24-hour
24-hour
economy, you can
economy.
ask me. It's the easiest policy anybody can understand. It's a very easy policy. What John Mahama is saying is that, look, God has given us 24 hours in a day. In Ghana, we work only 8 hours. And we use the 16 hours left for other things. If you go to advanced jurisdictions who have made it, the places we aspire to go, they work 24 hours. So human beings sleep, but the economy doesn't sleep. And so if you look at the economic bankruptcy we've been plunged into, such that today we can't even pay our debts. And unemployment is at an all-time high of almost 15%. We can't continue to work 8 hours and think that we will come out of this economic quagmire anytime soon. And so we must think outside the box and do what we have not done before. What is it? Let's work 24 hours so that we can come out of the economic mess. And so under the 24-hour economy, public institutions with huge customer traffic, passport office, DVLA, the ports, and so on, we are going to ensure that they all work 24/7. We are dividing the work system into 3 shifts, 8 hours each, so 3 shifts. One person, one group of people will go to work from 8 to 4. Another group will go to work from 4 to 12. Another group will go to work from 12 to 8 a.m. So 3 shifts, endless shifts, working 24/7, so that citizens can have better access to public services. The long queues that leads to the extortion of bribes will stop at the ports, at the passport office, DVLA, and those crowded public institutions. Citizens will have better public services, and there will be more jobs for the youth. Not useless jobs, but jobs that add value to the GDP and the economy. Because, for example, if the passport office has 100,000 workers, if you add 2 more shifts, you are going to get 300,000 workers. But the workers will not be idling around doing nothing. They will be work, because there is already a huge customer traffic there. People are looking for passports they are not getting. They apply for passports even though they can do so online today. Sometimes it takes them 4, 5, 6 months, even after they have paid bribes before they get their passports. Mahama is saying that will be a thing of the past. You apply for your passport, your roadworthy, your driver's license, you get it in real time, because there will be a round-the-clock processing of your passport application, your driver's license application, your roadworthy application. You can clear your goods even in the night and so on. And that is what the 24-hour economy is about. And the private sector will be supported with the needed tax incentives to reduce their cost of production, cheaper and reliable power to reduce their cost of production. Again, they will be supported with financial support under the Ghana Exim Bank, particularly those who will be producing not only for the domestic market but also for exports, and we will support them with security so that everybody can operate in a congenial, secured atmosphere without any fear. And once that happens, you will see businesses ramping up production because they are doing 24/7. So we are going to cut down on imports, and that is going to reduce pressure on the city, because most of the things we are importing into Ghana we can produce here. The reason why we are not able to produce enough, the rice, the sugar and so on, and we are importing most of these things which makes our city depreciate, is because the cost of production of these producers in Ghana, these manufacturers, these industries are so high. John Mahama says he's reducing that with tax incentives. He's helping them with financing support to be able to operate 24/7, so that if they were producing 10,000 bags of, say, oil in a month, they will be doing 30,000. The one who is doing ceramic tiles, if they are doing, say, 100,000 curtains, they can do 300,000. So as we run 24/7, we are increasing production. That means we are reducing our imports, we are increasing our export earnings, and the most important part of it is that we are creating jobs for the youth who today after school have no hope of even getting a job.
That's fine.
Some even want to learn a trade, they are not getting it. So that is what the 24-hour economy is about.
So
and for you listening, the one listening to me, you will have a job under 24-hour economy, because if you don't get a job in the morning, you can find a job in the evening shift, or you can find a job in the night shift. That is what it's about.
Okay, so I understand you from that perspective. Let's relate it to the northern part of the country, because we are here. This region is not so much industrialized. We are largely into agriculture. So aside the public sector offices that you will be identifying to implement the 24-hour economy on, how would the 24-hour economy policy affect majority of us here who are largely into agriculture?
You see, President Mahama has said it. The 24-hour economy is not an end in itself, it's a means to an end. It is a centerpiece of our agenda to transform Ghana into an import substitution and export-led economy. What does that mean? What that means is this: 24-hour economy is what is going to drive all our policies, including the agricultural policies. So for those of you engaged in agriculture here, you know that for the factories we are talking about, the manufacturers we are talking about, most of them source their inputs from farmers. The one who is building a share nut factory will source the share from farmers. The one who's building a tomato processing factory will source the tomato from farmers. The one who is doing something which has to do with maize or cassava will source it from the farmers. Same with the yam. So if the businesses are running 24/7, it means they will need more of those raw materials. That means farmers can expand. There will be a market for them, and there will be an opportunity for them to even increase what they produce. And that is why President Mahama is saying that he is going to establish farming service centers in all the regions and in all the agricultural zones. And these farming service centers will be linked to what we call regional agro and industrial zones. Let me explain it. What is a farming center? We are saying that this time around we are not going to be distributing tractors to farmers, because there are so many people engaged in farming with cutlass and hoe. How many of them can you give them tractors? And do they even have the requisite expertise to even maintain these vehicles? No. Most of the times we see the vehicles break down in the farms and they are unable to handle or maintain them. So what we're going to do now is to establish a farming service center, which will have the harvesters, the equipment for plowing, for weeding, everything, the technology, the modern technologies for farming, everything will be there, run by the experts, well versed in the maintenance of these equipment.
So just
so
like
that
a
farmers,
mechanization center.
you go and register, and then the equipments are brought to your farm. It is, whether you want your land cleared, it is done for you. It is plowed for you. It is cultivated for you. When it is harvesting time, it is done for you, and government helps you to package that, and we move that to the agro processing zone. So there will be many agro processing zones in the northern region. What is an agro processing zone? You see, we want to move from the traditional way of exporting raw products and farming for subsistence, farming for what we eat at home only, to commercial farming, where we produce to feed industries and also produce for exports by adding value to what we produce. So once the farmers are increasing production because they now have farming service centers and they have modern equipment, logistics and technologies to increase their yield, which means more money for the farmer, there will be a market for them, because we are going to establish agro processing zones. Currently, if you tell an investor to come and build, give me, what is the main produce that farmers produce here, cultivate here in Tamale, in another region?
Yes, we have the grains.
Grains, okay. So a factory which has to do with the processing of grains, the person will be thinking about the land tenure system in Ghana here and the litigation surrounding it. Where should I buy the land? Won't there be issues? If the person buys the land, he's thinking about, how do I get electricity there? How do I get water there? The road to the place. Who will do it for me?
Okay,
because
I get you on that.
If I leave the factory in the bush, it will be difficult for people to even patronize it. So, President Mahama says, we are going to take huge tracts of land, pave the places, clean the places, fence the places, secure the places, take water there, take electricity there.
Okay.
And once you want to set up an agro processing factory, government gives you part of that land, and then you set up all the amenities you need are there. So the farmers bring their produce there, you add value, it goes into the market, and what has to be exported
will be exported. So
that is a brilliant idea. And all these all these factories which will be in the agro processing zones and industrial zones will be working 24/7, because they will be benefiting from the incentive packages under the 24-hour economy. That is why I said the 24-hour economy will drive them all. Once they are doing that, the farmers will also get more money, because they will be producing more.
So these agro zones, how are they going to be built? Is it going to be for each region, for each district?
Yes.
Or it will just be concentrated at one location?
Will be regional based.
So each region will have its
if each region is going to have it. Each region is going to have it. And in our manifesto, you're going to see more details of that. John Mahama has said that we don't believe in quantity when it comes to industrialization. We believe in quality. It's not about bragging that I have built 300 factories, when you know in your heart that those factories were not built by you, but are private initiatives, most of which existed even before you came into office. And when the net impact or effect of those factories in terms of its impact on the reduction of our import bill is very insignificant. President Mahama, for example, built the Tuabo gas processing plant. He inherited that from Professor Mills and continued it. $1 billion factory. That plant alone is just one factory, but that factory alone saves Ghana $300 million every year. So you can see the impact of just one factory on the import bill. All these factories that the MPP guys are talking about, what is their impact on the import bill? So we are saying that we are going to look at the comparative advantage of every region. What products are they strong in? So here in the north, every region will have certain commodities, certain produce, agricultural produce, that they have a comparative advantage in. It may be rice, it may be maize, it may be share. So the agro processing zones will be tailored for that purpose. If you go to my hometown, cocoa and cashew are the mainstays there. You understand? Then other regions too have their comparative advantage.
Okay.
So that is how the agro processing.
So still with the north, the PAA Dam is one of our major resources. Now, this government had said that they were going to use it as a multi-purpose dam for irrigation, for flood control, and to generate hydro power for the people of this country. We have not seen anything even as at yet. a campsite had started and then abandoned along the line. Contractor is not at site. What would your government be doing to utilize the resource as in the dam for the benefit of the people of this region?
Well, this is a very sad story for me, because it speaks volumes about the insensitivity, okay, and the deviousness of Alhaji Bawumia. Because this is the man who came and deceived the North that this government was bringing the biggest investment in the history of the North, $1 billion investment for the Pualugu MultiPurpose Dam, which has a power generation aspect, an irrigation aspect, and so on. Sword was cut for this project years ago.
4 years ago.
And we're told that the project was going to take a period of 4 years. What is sad for me is that $12 million of taxpayers' money has been paid to a company called Power China for this project. $12 million. Today, $12 million will be equivalent to over 170 million cedis. That is 1.7 trillion old Ghana cedis. The contractor has done nothing at the site. The contractor has left the site. I'm sure you have seen the videos and the pictures. I mean, the Nairi himself was at the sword cutting, and many other chiefs in that enclave were there. So is it that Bawumia has no respect for these revered chiefs? Is it that Bawumia has no respect for his own kindred, for his own people, that you come and deceive them that you are building a multi-purpose dam and you will take $12 million of taxpayers' money and squander the money, waste the money, chop the money with nothing to show for
the want of time? What will you be doing about it?
No, it is something that we are going to prioritize. If you check the website of VRA, just Google the history of that, you will know that it was under the NDC 2013 that we did the feasibility studies, and that feasibility study ended in 2018. So really, they came and met what we did, inherited that. They had to build on it, and they have failed to do so in 8 years. We are revisiting that project, and our manifesto will have something on that.
Will it continue in the current design and shape that it would serve?
I can't say that for sure. I think that the technical people will be the right people to speak to that. But once the feasibilities have been done, I don't think that we're going to have any significant departure from the current arrangement. But the significant departure will be the probity and accountability with which we will go about the project. We will not take $12 million of taxpayers' money to do something to support agriculture in the North, to support irrigation in the North, and squander that money.
Is
no, we
dear
will not do
to
that.
the hearts of the people of this region, particularly Tamale, has to do with our international airport. If you check the Tamale International Airport, the upgrading into an international status started with the NDC government. Phase 1 was done, and then you exited, and the MPP government came and continued.
And in fact, now, when we did phase 1, Ghanaians flew from Tamale to Hajj for the first time.
In 2016 and then 2017 it continued. So the airport is there. Now we are told we have an international airport, but it is not operationalized as an international airport. So to me, it's more or less like a white elephant. We are still using it to fly just to Accra and then back to Tamale, except for just a week of flight that we move people to Hajj. And that is not economically sensible for us to use these huge investments just for a week international travels. We were expecting that we would some way, somehow, have it operationalized so that some flights can take off and then terminate at Tamale, whilst Kotoka also still operate. Because I've done a lot of work there. Engineers have told me that it is the alternative airport to that of the Kotoka International Airport. It has the same runway length, bigger than any other airport apart from Kotoka. It has modern aeronautical lighting system that was installed in the first phase. So it qualifies as a new and then the face of the Sahel. But this is not utilized. So what will you be doing to ensure, and I'm sure you would have been having discussions around this, whether the airport will still continue to serve Accra, Tamale, or what you'll be doing, particularly to connect that to the 24-hour economy.
The airports will be fully operationalized to serve the purpose for which it was built as an international airport under the next NDC Mahama.
We'll have international flights.
And you see, there are certain issues that are fit for the lips of the linguist. Other issues are fit for the lips of the chief himself. And the chief himself, in this context, is the incoming president, inshallah, the nation builder John Mahama, and he will be in town tomorrow. So come for the launch, and you're going to hear him talk about the Tamale Airport. But what I can tell you, for starters, and for those listening, is that the Tamale Airport is going to be fully operationalized as an international airport, as it was meant to be. That is why President Mills and President Mahama decided to make it an international airport. That is why we started phase 1. They have come, they've done phase 2, which is good. But I agree with you that the airport is being operationalized way below its capacity. We are not getting value for money, and we will not get value for money if we continue to do this Accra Tamale, and then we do annual flights to Mecca. No, we need to change that. And John Mahama is a surest bet of changing that.
How would the 24-hour economy address issues of security to our market women? So, for instance, we have a lot of the market women here move to neighboring communities for trade, and then they get back into the country sometimes, to the town sometimes late into the night. Severally, you hear armed robbers have blocked them on the way. They have killed some of them. They've taken their belongings and all that. So, tying that up to the 24-hour economy, which is going to be the lead policy, how would you address such security concerns under that policy?
You see, if you check the FAQs, the frequently asked questions and answers we publish on the 24-hour economy, have you seen that document? Have you seen it? The FAQs on the 24-hour economy.
Yes, I've seen it.
You look at what we said we'll be doing to support the private sector to be able to run this 24-hour economy. The first on the list is security. Because we know the importance of security to every 24-hour economy. Now, at first, we used to have mobile money vendors operating deep into the night.
Sure.
Today, that is a thing of the past. Why? Because of the way thieves and armed robbers have been worrying them.
Sure.
Filling stations that used to operate late into the night today can't do so because of the insecurity situation. And I know that insecurity is one of the major challenges here in the north. So we are not oblivious of that at all. And we have thought through it, and that is why that is going to be a priority. So John Mahama is saying that we're going to build a security architecture of both state security, the police, and private security. The police, we're going to employ 25,000 police people just for the 24-hour economy.
I see.
5,000. John Mahama has announced it. And we are going to add private security companies to it, so that if you are registered, because we're going to have a 24-hour economy secretariat where all participating businesses will be registered. Once you're registered, we will give you a security attachment that will be patrolling your business place to make sure that you are secured. So there will be security. Every person who wants to run 24/7 will register, and straight away police officers and private security companies will be attached to you. So we're going to create even more jobs in the area of security. Not only are we going to recruit more police officers, we are also going to work with the private security companies who are also going to recruit more security personnel. So for the young men in Tamale, this is your opportunity. This is your surest bet of getting a decent, well-paying job. And it is not just about 24-hour economy and then jobs. We are not leaving our women behind. We are not leaving our mothers behind. We are going to introduce, John Mahama is going to introduce a National Women's Development Bank, which is going to be a bank run by women and for women. A bank where the bank manager, the cashier, the tellers, the staff, the board members, the security personnel will all be women.
That's gender insensitive.
Very gender, yes, because we need affirmative action. Women have been marginalized for too long, and they need to be propped up. Ghanaian women are not lazy, they are very industrious and entrepreneurial, but they lack support. Today, access to affordable capital is a major headache for our parents. Some of them, if you give them even 1,000 cedis, they can turn that money around and take care of a whole household. But where are they going to get that money from? You go to the banks today, you can't get some. All the microfinance and the savings and loans they could go to, Opana, Kufuado, and Bawumia have collapsed, all of them.
So the bank will lend to only women?
Only women customers, and we are targeting a minimum of 1 million women that will be empowered.
Across the country.
So the one hawking on the streets, the one selling in the markets, or the young lady in the university who has created an online business, the one who wants to go into the selling of hair, the one who wants to go into hairdressing, or the one who wants to be a seamstress, or a woman who wants to establish any business, the Women's Development Bank will be there, not only to give you training or the needed equipment, but to give you a loan. And that loan will range from 1,000 cedis all the way to all the way up high to 1 million cedis. The interest rate is going to be 3 times cheaper than what pertains in the commercial world. And the requirements in terms of collateral will be very flexible.
I see.
So that everybody can be able to access capital.
Okay.
So this is also going to create a lot of jobs for women. We are going to have a lot of female entrepreneurs.
Okay.
And you see, it was crazy. Agro, we said that if you educate a woman, you've educated what?
Yeah, a whole nation.
A whole nation.
But if it is a man,
and
it's just
I
one
believe
person.
that if you economically and financially empower a woman, you have empowered a whole household, not just nuclear, but extended. But when the women make money, they bring it home to take care of their children and their children's children, their grandchildren, and so on. And so that is what the Mahama National Women's Development Bank will do. And for the young men who want to go into IT, under the big push agenda, we are putting $3 billion into ICT investments.
So, I think
and that is going to create 300,000 jobs for people who want to go into IT related work. And we are also going to train 1 million young people in coding and other digital models. So there will be 1 million jobs. That is what we call the 1 million coders program.
Sammy, I think there is more for us to talk about.
Certainly.
Unfortunately, I'm signaled that we have overstayed our time. So I need you to make a promise to my listeners that you will find some other time, come into the studio so we can have good
I
enough
can promise
time.
you that anytime I'm back in Tamale, I will be on Diamond FM.
Fantastic. So that we can explore the good things that your party is proposing for the people
but let me repeat
this country.
That you're going to hear more about the few things I've said on this platform here tomorrow.
Okay.
This is a national program. It is not a regional program. The whole nation is coming to Tamale.
Okay.
We are saying that we need change and we need a reset. And tomorrow, General Mosquito will be in town. Our General Secretary, Honorable Fifi Kwete, will be in town. Our mother, the incoming first female Vice President, Professor Nana Jeno Pokwajiman, will be in town. And our father, the nation builder, and inshallah, the incoming President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, will be in town. We are calling on all the people of Tamale to come out in your numbers. And I know this radio station goes far, even beyond Tamale, right?
Sure, of course.
No matter where you are, come and let's have this launch. The time is 12 p.m. And if I were you, I will come earlier than that, because if you come late, you may not get a place to stand or to sit. And we will have t-shirts there. We will have free medical screening there. There will be medical stands where we'll be doing medical screening for people. So if you want to do a medical checkup, you can come and do that. And we'll be having t-shirts for those who will be coming early. So come early. Make it a point to come early. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be impactful, because you will be given a compelling reason as to why you must vote for change, for us to reset.
So tomorrow